This is going to be my reaction video to the Ravens 31-24 win over the Cardinals in Week 8. I'm going to be honest with you guys up front. If you come here looking for positivity or spinning this win over a 1-7 football team, if you come here for someone to spin this in a positive way, you come to the wrong place. You might just want to stop the video now because I really don't have a lot of good things to say about what I saw today. And some of it is inferences. Some of it is things that from a coach's standpoint, I think I see. And so maybe some of it you don't see and you don't share the same opinions. It's no problem. We can have different opinions. If I'm going to start off this way. If you want to know why fans of other teams don't think this Ravens team is a complete, dangerous, top of the food chain football team in the NFL, this is why. Now on the real, I really don't care what fans of other teams think. I really don't. But watching this game was frustrating for me. I'm not sure if it was frustrating for you. Perhaps it wasn't. I feel like we were very fortunate to get a couple of bad turnovers from Josh Dobbs, as Brandon Stevens and Geno Stone got more interceptions. One of them was really kind of gifted to us. Stevens actually almost had both of them, but Geno Stone took it from him. And yet we still figure out a way to give up 24 points to a Josh Dobbs and Cardinals team that, frankly, I don't think is very talented. I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards them or an NFL football team. They got a young head coach who I thought his defensive coordinator did a great job today, putting his guys in position and giving us different looks. This game leaves me with a very similar feeling to the Steelers game in Week 5 and the Titans game in Week 6. We're very inconsistent. That's just who we are right now. We're inconsistent from an execution standpoint. Offensively, generally, is what I'm talking about. But the defense, I thought, was very disappointing today. It's difficult for me to really understand some of the things we chose to do defensively and make open and available to the Cardinals. Particularly the run game in the first half. That was tough to watch. But we're really inconsistent, I think, is in some ways our intention. Now, there's a positive spin to this. The two drives we have in the third and fourth quarter, our 10th and 11th possession, where we clearly come out and choose to run the football. Do I think that's who we should be all the time? No. It's good to be able to go to that as a second or third option. It does seem to me there's a little bit of a overreaction by Monken, though. We seem to be either really heavily reliant on the run on particular drives. Think of the fourth possession against the Lions last week, where we ran the ball into the boundary to our right, the Lions' defense is left, like 5 out of 6 plays. We'll let some stats flow here. And then this week, 10th and 11th possession, we kind of overcorrect. Well, it worked for us, so it's not overcorrection, but we definitely swung the pendulum really far in the other direction in terms of the intention of our play calls. Whereas early on, I thought there was very little ingenuity. Things did not look smooth. We looked like we were trying to throw the ball for big plays, and I mean that for Lamar and Todd Monken. Some of y'all aren't going to like this. I'm sorry. To me, it looked like, and the announcers touched on it a couple times, I didn't think the announcers were great today either. But it looked to me like Lamar's holding on to the football a little bit too long in certain situations early, but the All-22, will prove that to be correct or incorrect. I think we spend too many plays trying to force the ball to Zay Flowers. I know not many people are probably talking about that. We've got a lot of talented guys on this football team, and it's not about run or pass plays. To me, it's not about run or pass plays. It's about being a spread offense from the standpoint of using all of the offensive talent we have. And it seems like we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to get Zay Flowers the football, and sometimes it's on those little bubble screens that really didn't have any impact today, I didn't think. The run game in the first half, there was none on our part, but let's talk about some positives if I haven't lost most people listening already. Michael Pierce was unbelievable. The way he played today from a 3 technique, let's put him in a 3 technique as much as we can. Let's play with 2-3 techniques, him on one side and Matabike on the other. Matabike had 2 sacks, but only one of them counts, as you can see from the stat sheet there. Penalty by Kyle Hamilton on the first possession, where we had a stop at that point, and the Cardinals go down and score. But anyway, that sack doesn't count. Brandon Stevens, I thought, played really well. He blanketed Marquise Brown 3 or 4 times where he was targeted, or at least you could see him on the screen. Stone gets his 5th interception. Gus Edwards showed up big despite being ignored, I thought, early in the game, the first quarter and a half. It felt like we'd run the ball one time on our first or second play of a drive for 7 yards and then not run the ball again. I don't know. Maybe that's an oversimplification. And you may have a different opinion than me. That's fine. Let me know in the comment section. Andrews now, I believe, has 6 touchdowns, 4 catches, 40 yards. I am not going to spend much time in this video talking about the defense. I was pretty pissed off, to be honest with you. I actually took an hour after the game was over and went and spent some time with my kids because I was like, man, I'm not going to rush to do this shit when, to me, I didn't see a team defensively that showed up to play 4 quarters. I just didn't see that. And again, that's me making an inference, but we got 22 or 23 first downs to Arizona today and over 300 yards, 24 points. I didn't think we played well at all on defense. Maybe your thoughts are different. So let's focus on the offense here. Disappointing day on that side as well. 268 total yards, including only 157 yards passing. I feel like we were focused on hitting this Cardinals team with big plays downfield, and they did a great job spending at least 3 or 4 times early. I'm talking first quarter and a half, dropping 8 in coverage. Lamar doesn't have anywhere to go with the football. And then another thing they did was brilliant, which is on the other end of that spectrum, is bringing pressure. They used sticks blitz 0 at least twice. There was a third time where it looked like maybe they only brought 5. And I thought they were timing their blitzes off of our motion. And what I mean by that is our out motion. Think about it this way. If you're a slot receiver, it's usually Zay Flowers, sometimes Likely or Andrews, and you go from inside position, you motion out towards the sideline. There's only so far you can motion. You can't run him all the way out and run him out of bounds. He's got to stop at some point or you got to snap the football. I thought the Cardinals were timing their blitzes off of our motion because we generally snap the football within a certain amount of time after the motion starts. I'm talking about our out motion. A motion that originates from the same side and goes out towards the sideline. That motion that everybody's talking about, crediting to Mike McDaniel, that I saw my high school doing in early 1990s, but I digress. Lamar finishes 18 of 27 passing, 157. I thought he held the ball too long sometimes, but who knows? It could have been because the Cardinals were dropping so many people in coverage. So it could have been the right decision by Lamar there if no one's open, because they're dropping so many in coverage. The All-22 will show that, whether it's true or not. One thing I do know is, play calling-wise, I thought we were arrogant and limited at times. And the Cardinals' defensive coordinator did a great job of varying the looks in terms of coverage, bringing the sticks blitz 0. We still just want to throw screens against the sticks blitz 0. It hasn't worked yet. I don't know. I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work by 2024. I thought the offense regressed to me today, but having said that, it is a good thing to be able to switch gears, to be able to go to a different style of play. And that's where I'm going to start this video. I'm going to talk about the 10th possession, or talk about the play analysis. That's where we're going to start. The 10th possession. We're up 21-7, early fourth quarter, and we get the ball negative 33-yard line. And we run the football with Gus on the first 4 plays, which I thought was amazing. And then we take Gus out. Understand, how many plays in a row can a dude carry the football? Okay, 4, 5, maybe 6, whatever. I mean, they had not stopped it. Interestingly, some of this stuff with Gus today was under center. Look at the first play at the top and the 4th play from the top. Maybe you're watching on your phone and it's tough to see, so my apologies. But I got trips right under center. And then the 4th one, twin wing under center. And it's outside zone. So a lot of people have talked about, I've heard people say Lamar doesn't play well with his back to the defense. I got to disagree with that crap. That's BS. He hasn't done it a lot. We haven't utilized it a lot. But in this case, we're running the outside zone with Gus. Lamar's under center, so he's getting out there, kind of like that old school stretch stuff you used to see Peyton Manning do. Lamar's got to get out there and give him the football, and then Gus is untouched at the line. Look, you got an 8-yard gain on the outside zone and an 11-yard gain. Of course, we come back on the 1st and 10, throw to Aguilar left side. Clear defensive pass interference. I mean, how the refs did not call that. It was on the bottom side of the broadcast screen, the left side of the Ravens offense. It looked like 2 penalties on the same DB to me. They called Bateman for lining up. There were some weird calls by the refs today. Let's do it that way. So they called Bateman for a penalty 1st and 15. Justice Hill counter out of the pistol for 7. And then I thought Lamar held the ball too long here on this 2nd and 8. But again, we don't see the coverage, so we don't know what it was. in terms of should Lamar thrown have the ball or not on that 2nd and 8 from the 35.5, second play from the bottom or third play from the bottom, I guess. And then the 3rd and 8, I love this play call and this willingness to throw the football to Bateman. First of all, the guy's got to get more involved. Like this is a Monken Lamar issue for me at this point, or Lamar issue. Let me put it that way, because Bateman can play. It's there. The film is there. And the sweep that he runs on the 11th possession, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, I think is illustrative of the overusage of Zay Flowers. Think of how many sweeps we've run with Zay Flowers for 4 or 5 yards this year. We ran one with Bateman for 18. In any case, it's a good drive for us in terms of running the football with Gus early, and then Gus doesn't touch the football again, and we end up settling for a field goal, but at least it puts us up 24-7 in the 4th quarter. Of course, we know that we still had to recover an onside kick to not allow this Cardinals team to get the football. Let's talk about the 11th drive after we've gotten the ball, because we've given up a score to the Cardinals. I felt like our defense did not show up to compete today for 60 minutes, but I won't spend too much time talking about it. So we go back to Gus early on this drive, 11th possession, 4 plays in a row, including the 3rd and 1 where we go unbalanced. You can almost bet when we hurry up to the line on a 3rd and 1 that it's going to be unbalanced. Unbalanced meaning 2 tackles on the same side, guard, tackle, tackle. And then the backside is going to be guard, tight end. They were set up for the boot on this stuff, but we didn't run it at all. This 1st and 10 play call, Gus gets tackled for a loss. Looked like the linebacker blitzed. And then a brilliant play call on this 2nd and 13. I'm a huge fan of Zay Flowers. He's a great talent. I'm glad we got him. He's going to make plays for this franchise for years. But Rashad Bateman can play too. I wonder if we run this sweep with Zay on this 2nd and 13, if the defense doesn't overreact to it. Why? Because we've given the sweep to Flowers so much. They know he's probably going to get the ball. How many times have we given it to Bateman on a sweep in the last 3 years? I know he has missed a lot of games, so you can give your smart-ass answer if you want. Not many, right? It is an 18-yard game by Bateman, and then a 15-yard personal foul. I think it's a neat. That point for me is larger than even I'm making it. If you do things with non-typical players, guys who don't normally do that motion with or run those plays with, it can succeed because the defense doesn't respect it in the same manner. Very next play, Lamar keeps it. This was a brilliant play by Lamar. Correct read out of trips. I forget who it was that was up in the comment section last week talking about Lamar doesn't read the option. He just predetermines it. Ridiculous. So Lamar keeps it off the right side for 13, gets us down to the 20, and we end up with this 3rd and 7. I thought this was a good call on the pass interference to OBJ. I did. And I'm okay with us taking some of those shots. We've taken a lot of them to OBJ, though. We haven't taken many of them to Bateman. I don't know why. I mean, have they been succeeding to OBJ? We've been getting defensive pass interference calls. So, yes. So they have. We got down to the 1 and Gus scores on the next play. But are we winning that? Think of the one to OBJ against Joey Porter Jr. We didn't win that one. It was an interception. I'm not saying we should never throw the ball to OBJ. I'm just saying there seems to be too much focus on getting the ball to Flowers and OBJ for me from a sheer numerical standpoint. And read into that what you will. So 11th possession puts us up 31-15, and then we have this real CF, if you ask me, to end the game defensively, giving up a touchdown, allowing the Cardinals to onside kick it. We apparently didn't want to field the onside kick as Aguilar. Thankfully, we're able to get out of there with a win. I think it's a positive thing that we can go to those run concepts. We can go to that type of offense if we want to course correct, to generate some yards and some points, and possess the ball. I think it was Stacy in our Discord said, we should have an inverted game plan. We should almost do that earlier in the game. It's like we wait until like the Lions last week. It was 4th possession. And we went down and scored. We scored a touchdown. We scored 10 points on the 10th and 11th possession this game using that offensive strategy. Guess what we did the previous 3 possessions? The first 3 possessions of the 3rd quarter. Punts. We're throwing the ball 70. I think the play calls was 75% pass, 25% run on those 3 possessions. Am I saying we're not a passing team at times? No, but I think we're impatient by play call. It seems to me like we're looking for bigger plays in chunks instead of setting things up. I think that falls on Monken. Maybe it falls on Lamar too sometimes. I don't know because we know we don't get the all 22. But I do know we're overly focused on getting the ball to Zay Flowers and at times OBJ. And we've got Rashad Bateman available. He's healthy. He's healthy right now. He's out there. And today, at least, when he got the ball thrown to him or handed off to him, he made plays. I think we need to become a true spread team, spreading the ball around to more people and spending less time focused on the same concepts over and over to certain players, Zay Flowers and OBJ being the main two. And you probably don't agree with me, and that's no problem. First half notes are no less negative. I thought this was an uninspiring beginning by the Ravens on both sides of the ball. Through 16, 18 minutes of gameplay, I have the Cardinals as the more physical team on both sides of the ball. They ran 21 times for 78 yards in the first half, which doesn't sound like a tremendously productive 30 minutes. Emari Demercado, the rookie, ran 14 times for 60 yards, and he had 5 different runs of 7 yards or more. You tell me if that sounds like the number one defense in the NFL. I didn't think our guys came to play today. However, the Cardinals bailed us out. Their play calling sequence near the end of the first quarter was ridiculous. Facing a 3rd and 1 right near midfield, they go with a play action, and Owe could have sacked Dobbs for a 15, 20-yard loss, it looked like. He tries to sling him down. We've done this a lot this year. Clowney was the main culprit in the first 3 or 4 weeks, trying to sling the quarterback down, basically grab him and throw him instead of tackling and finishing the tackle or just hold on. You know, you have teammates that are in pursuit, not necessarily on this play. Owe was basically by himself. That's a play Owe's got to finish. I've heard Ravens fans say a lot of bad things about Josh Dobbs leading up to this game. The dude competed, and he just put up 24 points on our defense. So then this awful play call by the Cardinals to open the second quarter. 4th and 1, the ensuing play after Owe's missed sack. Pass deflected by Pierce over the middle. Pierce, to me, looked like a defensive player of the week this week for the entire league. Now, I don't know what it takes for a D tackle to get that designation. You may have a different opinion than me, but multiple tackles for loss, a sack, a forced fumble on a sack, I thought, a pass deflected on a 4th and 1, amazing. And then our offense nearly turns the ball over twice early in the second quarter, including Gus got the ball punched out by a Cardinals DB. A 3rd and 5 that we had early second quarter is when I finally realized that I thought the Cardinals were timing their blitzes off of our motion. The all-22 will show that to be more clear in terms of the timing. It looks like the type of thing where their coaches probably sat there, hey, let's check out all their motions and do a stopwatch. As soon as the motion starts, how long is it? What is the time elapsed until they snap the football? And if you get all of the instances of that, let's say you got 30 times we went motion in the last week against Detroit, and 27 of them the ball was snapped between 1.2 seconds and 1.4, then you know when to time your blitz. It's really smart coaching. I mean, I've done stuff like that before, not necessarily without motions like the Ravens are using. Outside linebacker Zaven Collins, who's a second-year player, appeared to force a fumble, but the replay review helped us out a lot, ruled it an incomplete pass. But then as Rasheed Wallace used to say, and I've said a couple of times recently, ball don't lie, or maybe it's line don't lie. Tucker's ensuing 53-yarder was no good, off the left upright. And then Dobbs is not able to generate any points the rest of the half. We're able to go down there, thankfully, get a couple more defensive stops in the second quarter. And then our 5th possession puts us up 14-7 after Stevens' interception. Stevens is just in position over top of the routes to get the interception on the overthrow by Dobbs. We get a 12-yard completion to Andrews there. We get a 24-yard completion to Justice Hill on the right side boundary. I thought the footing there was terrible. This is not the one where Justice Hill fell down, but a Ravens block on this 24-yard gain by Justice Hill on the 5th possession. A blocker out in front, a potential blocker out in front fell down. I thought the footing was horrible. But in any case, Gus powers in for a 1-yard touchdown run, put us up 14-7. In the second half, I've already kind of reviewed. I do want to talk about this first possession for us because we're coming out quick in games and scoring early. He had a penalty on us on the first play, complete to Justice Hill. We've started a lot of games with that motion, that completion out to the left flats. Interesting to me. 3rd and 9, 4th play down for you guys from the top. Again, this is first possession. Andrews on the over route, man-to-man, beats the guy easily. 10 yards, has to outstretch over the tackler to get the first down, but beat him in terms of the route. A 2nd and 10. This was an amazing play by Lamar. Scrambled out late, flips it to Gus. Gus nearly got it, 9 yards. I don't know about you, man, but Arizona tackled well today. This play, this 2nd and 10, where Gus nearly gets the first down on that flip by Lamar, it looked like one of those plays where, okay, he's got the first down. And then a tackler shows up, and maybe sometimes a second tackler as well. And they kept us short. Now, we converted on the 3rd and 1, Gus over the left side, same side run. Bateman with that catch, basically taking it away from the DB on 1st and 10 from the 49. It's like the 7th play down for you guys, maybe the 8th. 1st and 10 from the 49, bunch right A. Bateman takes it from the DB. I agree with the announcer. I thought that ball was underthrown. The DB basically had better leverage on it than Bateman did. A sack on the ensuing play was a 3-man rush at a bunch empty. I thought this was a bad play call. To me, after a big 27-yard gain like that, I thought we were coming back and running the football out of the same personnel group. You can see we're in 21 personnel, 4 plays in a row, and that 4th play in a row was empty, and it's a 3-man rush. At that point, Lamar held on to the ball too long, but again, it's probably guys in the window, so he has no one to throw the ball to, is my guess. Pass incomplete to OBJ on 2nd and 15, DPI on the DB. There was another one that was called on the DB that was called a hold early in the game, so it was only a 5-yard penalty, and I was like, why wasn't that a defensive pass interference? The ball is in the air. So I don't, I guess it's a hold if the ball's not there available to be caught, I guess is how it goes. Gus for 3, and then Lamar finds Andrews. Brilliant throw by Lamar. I thought Andrews stops his route. There's a safety who's running in front of Andrews on the play. Very weird defensive response by that safety. I can't remember who it was. He's actually running in front of Andrews and continues flowing to the other side of the field. Andrews just stops. So I have to get a look at the coverage and see what kind of rotation they were doing. But from the 5-yard line, a coverage rotation is kind of weird for me. I don't know about you, but I'm not pleased to watch the end of game situation by us. The onside kick by Aguilar not recovering it was extremely frustrating to watch. Maybe because I played so much baseball in my life and we've practiced those things so many times that, you teach the kids, okay, you see a big bounce, like the next bounce is not going to be fun to deal with. You've got to go get it. And to see him do that once was shocking. Our special teams has not been good this year. And that's another example of it. There's only limited amount of practice time. I get it. It's not like our guys can practice 8 hours a day. The coaches are there probably 10, 12 hours a day. But the players aren't, thankfully, in terms of being out on the field. But Aguilar's got to react better than that. That was poor by him. Now, thankfully, he got another opportunity and was able to recover it. This is the second time this year, though, guys, where there's been an onside kick late in games against teams that I think we're better than in terms of our overall talent structure. And thankfully, we recovered the onside kick. One of them was likely against Tennessee, and then Aguilar with his second chance this week. We could very easily have had to get a stop again today or against Tennessee because we're leaving too many points on the field offensively. And today, at least, the defense let us down in a lot of ways. I didn't think the defense did a great job of boundary side coverage at all. I don't want to call players out before I see the all-22 defensively because you could be drastically wrong. Again, with the Lamar thing, holding on to the football too long, there might be defenders in the window, especially when they're dropping 8 in coverage. So you can't tell until you see the all-22. So I reserve judgment in those ways. But our boundary side coverage was not good today. And you know who plays over to the boundary, so it's very easy to make the connection that McBride took advantage of dealing with one of our inside linebackers over there. Look, you guys might have a different opinion than me. You may not be as frustrated. I have high standards for this team because I think, A, we have a lot of talent, and B, we have the potential offensively to really get after people. And I thought today we were largely disappointing offensively. Whose fault that is? I mean, it's Todd Monken's fault. You're the offensive coordinator. It's your job to put people in position, and then your job to call the plays to attack people. We are great on the first possession, consistently. I don't know how many games it is this year we've scored on the first possession. It seems like damn near every one. And then for the rest of the first half, we were bad. We're lucky that we didn't get a turnover on that 3rd and 5 sack by Zaven Collins, or strip sack by Zaven Collins. It was ruled an incomplete pass. We could have very easily turned the football over there. Other than that, though, we didn't have a turnover today. Thank God. The Cardinals turned it over twice. They gave us a gift interception where we got the ball on their 23-yard line that we turned into a touchdown. We didn't turn the ball over once, and we still only beat them by 7 points. I don't know, you tell me. It seems to me as if the margin for error for this team is way smaller than our coaches and players think it is. Now, that's me making an inference. I got no idea what team meetings were like and no idea what conversation was like between players. I hope they're disappointed in today. I was. Like I said, when the game was over, I sat there and I was like, man, I'm going to go spend an hour with my family before I sit here and work on this. So forgive me for getting this done late, but it's the way it is because this was a difficult game for me to watch. And this is the 3rd time in the last, I guess, 4 weeks where I've had, maybe 5 weeks, where I've had this feeling like this looks like a team that is going to end up 10-7, 11-6, and fighting for playoff position when we really have the ability to be a 12-13 win football team if we play extremely well, we execute, we call the right plays, but be unpredictable with what we're calling. And that's really my main complaint today is I feel like the offense gets stale early in games after the first possession for whatever reason because we share the ball less than I think we should be. And really, I think that's the type of offense that benefits everyone. A spread offense isn't a spread offense by just your alignment, how wide you're lining up. That's not a spread offense. A spread offense is a ball that gets the ball to everyone, including Rashad Bateman and Gus Edwards, guys that I think at times are largely forgotten about or ignored by Todd Monken's play calls. You guys let me know what you think of some of my thoughts. I know it was extremely negative, but I have high standards for this team, and expectations should be high for professional football coaches that spend 68 hours a week putting in game plans only to show up to Arizona and really get out-coached. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this look at the Ravens win over the Cardinals, nonetheless disappointing, but a win puts them at 6-2, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.